What's going on, everybody? My name is Michael Weir, and this is my review / spoiler talk for Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm making one video because, well, A, I can, and B, I don't really do this for the clicks. I mean, yeah, if you talk to anybody who posts videos on YouTube, the more clicks, the better. If you ask anybody on YouTube if they'd rather have 100 or 100,000 viewers, they would pick the 100,000, of course, but at the end of the day, I just do this because I like to talk about movies, and I like to talk about things that make me happy. So I haven't reviewed every single movie in 2021, even though I've seen a lot more than I've actually reviewed, because if the movie doesn't stick with me and make me want to make a video, then I don't really want to make a video. That said, Spider-Man No Way Home made me want to make a video, but it didn't make me want to make a spoiler-free review and then come back and talk about spoilers in another one just for extra clicks. Like, I don't know, every account and every channel I know did one and one. And some of them, it's like, okay, I know people legitimately go to you for your opinions, but other ones, it's like, come on, you're making 3 or 4 videos out of this. I mean, I was scrolling YouTube yesterday, and it was like Spider-Man video, Spider-Man video, Spider-Man video, Spider-Man video, spoiler theories, spoiler theories, spoiler theories. Like, come on. So I'm doing one for my channel because I legitimately want to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home, and I legitimately want to talk about some of the spoilers, and I legitimately want to give you some theories of mine. That's all I want to say at the open of this video. Here's a really cool clip from Spider-Man No Way Home. Remember, spoilers. So Spider-Man No Way Home is about Tom Holland's Peter Parker essentially trying to undo the mess that Mysterio made at the end of Far From Home when he revealed to the world that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. There's a couple really cool spoilers that happen right off the bat, like Daredevil shows up. Charlie Cox's Daredevil, no less, from the Daredevil series on Netflix. That's so cool. You get Charlie Cox's Daredevil comes in and he's like, hey, we can sort out your legal problems, and he does, and then bop, he catches a brick, and they're like, how'd you do that? And he's like, nah, I'm a really good lawyer. Now that's all you get of him in this movie, but man, it was worth it. It was a great opening to a movie that would have so many more spoilers. But then moving on, once his legal troubles are behind him, people still really don't like the fact that he's Spider-Man and he can't get into college, and neither can his girlfriend or his best friend Ned, who his name escapes me at the moment. The point is, they are all being impacted by his life, and he doesn't feel like that's fair to them. Before we get into more of the movie, I do want to touch on that. I love the relationship he has with Mary Jane in this movie and with Ned in this movie, like his best friend, and you never saw a real breakdown of his best friends like you did in the Tobey movies, and I liked that. And there was never really a back and forth with Mary Jane like there was in the Tobey movies as well, or even the Andrew Garfield movies. I'm referencing those because, well, you guys know why, but we'll get to all that later. The point I'm trying to make is that I liked the way the MJ relationship happened over the course of these 3 movies, the Homecoming, the Far From Home, and now No Way Home, and I like that they're in love with each other now, and I love where they go with that story, but I really did like their relationship in this movie. So I'm not going to do a play-by-play. From here on out, I'll just say it gets crazy. He goes to see Doctor Strange, and things go bonkers from there. Of course, we get Alfred Molina's Dr. Octopus back, and that is just awesome. I love that. There's a fantastic scene with him and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man that I just loved. We get Norman Osborn. We get Willem Dafoe's Norman Osborn back, and he says the line, you know, I'm something of a scientist myself. And as a fan, and as a fan of that meme in particular, I just lost it in the theater. I loved that moment. Talking about other people that come back, you get Jamie Foxx's Electro, you get the guy who played Sandman, but technically he didn't come back. Apparently they just used old footage from Spider-Man 3. So that's cool, whatever. You do get the Lizard back from the Andrew Garfield movies as well. He's kind of in the movie enough to be in the movie. He's there to be a threat, but he's not really a center character. Your main characters that get some sort of arc, I'd like to see more of Jamie Foxx, you get Willem Dafoe, you get Alfred Molina. Those are the 3 big ones, 3 big villains that you get that serve a purpose in this movie. Sandman and Lizard just kind of are there just to be there, fan service sort of thing, also to have moments with the other Spider-Man. Now, I've referenced these other Spider-Man several times in this video, so I'm just going to jump into that. Yeah, you get Andrew Garfield back, and his scene he comes in is so good, where they make him crawl across the ceiling just to prove that he's Spider-Man, and then they're like, okay, well, let's find the real Peter Parker, and they go to look for him, and boom, Tobey Maguire comes out, and it's so great. Just seeing him on screen as Spider-Man once again was great. Seeing him on screen as Peter Parker was great. I mean, it's been the worst kept secret in Hollywood over the past year that we were going to get all 3 Spider-Men in this movie. The question was, how much of them were we going to get? I assumed we'd just get them for an awesome action scene at the end, but we actually got a lot of gravity with these characters, and we get a scene where all 3 Spider-Men actually are Peter Parker being scientists in a lab because they're trying to cure the villains instead of kill the villains. And I loved that in this movie as well, that where it wasn't just, okay, let's go kick some ass. There's even a line where Tobey Maguire's like, cure some ass. Let's go cure some ass. And it's funny, but it also works. And as a Spider-Man fan, as a Peter Parker fan, as a Spider-Man fan my entire life, this is exactly what I wanted, and I loved every second of all 3 Spider-Men on screen together. I think one of the biggest spoilers to talk about, and one of the biggest parts of the review to talk about, would be Aunt May and how they handled her death. Yeah, that's right, they killed Aunt May in this movie, which is the first time a Spider-Man movie has killed Aunt May. But what this movie did, even more so than that, is they gave her the lines, with great power comes great responsibility. And I was wondering how they were going to incorporate that. I assumed they were. My theory was that it was going to be Robert Downey Jr. in like a video, or maybe even, hey, you're messing with multiverses, maybe he sees him one more time. But no, instead, Aunt May died, and she said those words to him. And that really tied in well. But what that did for the overall story of this movie is everybody in the world has to forget Peter Parker existed. Doctor Strange cast a spell to make all of this chaos stop. But what that did was that got rid of everybody ever knowing Peter Parker existed, and he lost Aunt May. So this is for the first time, really, for the first time ever, Peter Parker is completely 100% alone in the world. No girlfriend, no Mary Jane, no Gwen Stacy. You got no best friend in Harry Osborn or Ned, like in these movies. You've got no Aunt May, you've got no Uncle Ben. You have no one that knows Peter exists, and that is just interesting. I am very curious to see where they're going to go with these Spider-Man movies from here. I know Sony talked about we're going to collaborate with Marvel on another 3 movies, and I hope they do. I'm really looking forward to that. But then you've got the Sonyverse, and while we're talking about the Sonyverse, got to go into the after-credit scenes. Now, one of the after-credit scenes is just a Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness trailer. It's a little bit of a cop-out. I feel with everything going on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you could have had a little bit more, but fine. The other, though, is really cool. And the other after-credit scene, Venom, from the end of Venom 2, is sitting in a bar. Now, if you guys have seen Venom 2 after-credit scene, Venom gets zapped into the MCU. And you're like, how the hell did you do that? Well, as it turns out, he got zapped in when Doctor Strange magic happens. So Venom gets drawn into their universe. But at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, when Doctor Strange reverses everything and all the villains go home, Venom also goes home. So you're like, why the hell did they waste 2 end credit scenes for Venom just to come into the MCU and then leave? And then on the counter, you see a little bit of Venom crawl across the countertop. And that is really cool, because what that means is that you can keep the Sonyverse going with Venom, and on the other side of things, you can have Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the MCU get attached to the symbiote, which is a really cool idea. You can have 2 Venom universes going at the same time, and why not? The Venom movies are just printing money, so why wouldn't they do that? The final thing I'll say about this, my theory, is that Venom now has a taste of Spider-Man. He knows Spider-Man exists, and I think the Venom, the Tom Hardy Venom in the Sonyverse, is going to go looking for Spider-Man, and I think he's going to run into Andrew Garfield. Because in the movie, there's a moment where Tobey Maguire, Tom Holland, and Andrew Garfield are all talking, and they're talking about who the worst villains they've ever fought, and Tobey Maguire brings up that he fought a gooey alien, referencing Venom. Tom Holland then says, yeah, I fought an alien once, meaning Thanos. And Andrew Garfield goes, man, I wish I got to fight an alien. And I think they are foreshadowing, because I think either in the Venom movies or Sony's going to continue on with Andrew Garfield, we are going to get Andrew Garfield in some way versus Tom Hardy's Venom. And I think that's going to be so freaking cool. Or maybe team up. That'd be cool too. So I'm excited about where they're going with things. Those are the theories I wanted to talk to you guys about, because that's the one takeaway from this movie where I'm like, wow. I mean, that's what they hit you with in the end credit scene, was that Venom being in 2 universes now. So I'm very interested to see where all of this goes. I was a huge fan of everything I saw. This review has been way too long, but we had a lot of spoilers to talk about. Guys, I left out a lot of stuff too. If you have comments and thoughts about Spider-Man No Way Home, put that in the comment section down below. Maybe I left some stuff out that you really want to talk about. I'd love to go back and forth with you guys in the comment section. Again, I didn't want to make 10 videos on Spider-Man No Way Home. I just wanted to make one where I gave sort of a review about the movie, Of course, just for the record, I loved it, and I definitely recommend that everybody goes and sees it that watches this video. If you've ever liked Spider-Man or Spider-Man villains or anything Marvel in your life, you'll love this movie. If you're a fan of the old Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, you will love this movie. So I want to throw that out there, but I also want to talk about spoilers because there was some really cool stuff that happened, and I felt like I couldn't give a full review without talking about some of that stuff. Finally, guys, if you like this video, make sure you hit the like and the share button so your friends can see this video. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that because I got a lot of content coming your way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Figured I'd do the after credit scene in front of Civil War poster because that's when Spider-Man first showed up. So, yeah. After credit scene, I've got a Matrix review coming, and I've got a best of, worst of 2021, and of course I've got the most anticipated movies of the year video coming to you guys soon for 2022. I'm excited to talk to you guys about that. This has been the after credit scene. Thanks for watching.